All right, that one worked. That one worked. Here we go. Okay. So everyone, there's a video that has recently caught my attention. So I'm going to play it right now, and I'm going to give commentary while I play it. But I'm not paying attention to the political campaign because my candidate's not really going to win. But I did change my party affiliation. And I don't care if Obama wins or not, so I'm not really paying attention to the political campaign. But this thing from Brave New Films just came out, and Color of Change is trying to do something about it, so I want to make a video about it. So the first scene is his rally, and no kidding, there's a woman who writes BS Osama equals Obama equals Osama, okay? Inciting hate on the campaign trail.
He had launched his political career in the living room of a domestic terrorist. A domestic terrorist. Domestic terrorist. Domestic terrorist. Who is the real problem?
I didn't hear the word. I didn't hear anyone say terrorist there.
With domestic terrorists. Palin supporters began to hurl abuse at reporters. One even shouted a racial epithet at an African-American sound man for a TV network. One woman hollering, quote, "Bomb Obama, terrorist, treason, off with his head, kill him." Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. Obama's a Muslim. He's a terrorist himself. Obama's a terrorist. Don't you know that? I think he's a one-man terrorist.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. All right. So this is amazing. Apparently, a whole bunch of people in the United States have begun equating Barack Obama with a terrorist. So now he was connected. Now because Bill Ayers, who was part of the Weather Underground, lives in Chicago and may have had a conversation or some with Barack Obama. And because Barack Obama's name is Obama, which is very connected to Osama, because Barack Obama is Kenyan, and East Africa has a long history with Arab influences. They were colonized by Arab countries, 2,000 years ago. So Obama and Osama are very similar, and his middle name happens to be Hussein, which is not particularly good considering that the U.S. media has done everything it can to demonize Saddam Hussein, which wasn't hard, and so it's an Arab-sounding name. So a whole bunch of people, particularly white, particularly rural, not particularly well-educated, regardless of even the ruralness, I would say white and uneducated people have begun associating Barack Obama with a terrorist. Okay. I feel like this is important, so I'm gonna make another video. I completely lost my space here. I got a whole bunch of stuff off my chest in that video, and now I don't mentally remember where I was. But everyone's associating Barack Obama with a terrorist. I don't understand how on earth anyone can make that association because, like I said, aside from the fact that the media is a propaganda tool, a very expensive propaganda tool, I don't see how, and very effective clearly because people are making this connection, I don't see how on earth anyone associates Barack Obama with being a terrorist, okay? It's so beyond me that I couldn't even take it seriously for the longest time. I was laughing for most of this. And then all of a sudden it was like people really are like shouting these things at these rallies. If you ask me, I think the real depth below all this is that people really don't like the fact that he's a black person. So people are saying terrorist because they can't say nigger. I think that's what that really comes down to. And you can't say sand nigger for Arab people. So instead of saying we don't want the nigger in office, they're saying we don't want a terrorist in office. I think that has a lot to do with it, if you ask me. I think that has a lot to do with it. If this, Barack Obama had tried to run for president back in 1960 or something like that, I think we would be hearing the word nigger a whole lot more often than we, than now. What was I gonna say? I was astounded. I was just really, when I saw this video, I was just astounded about this. I just don't see how anyone can equate Barack Obama with a terrorist. I mean, what does, if you do, then what does terrorist mean anymore? Terrorist doesn't mean anything anymore. Is a terrorist someone who blows up buildings and you know, destroys the lives of people? The U.S. State Department has a definition of terrorism. That's something about creating the intent to create harm for a political end, something along those lines. Okay, by that definition, you know, is Barack Obama a terrorist? You know, by that definition, you know, are the Earth Liberation Front, a lot of these groups who I think are pretty fucking cool, are these people terrorists? And if Barack Obama, if your definition of a terrorist is someone, the only way it makes sense is if your definition of a terrorist is someone who runs for a political office and then uses the power of that political office to gain power for himself and his cronies instead of giving power to the people that elected him in the first place. If that's your definition of a terrorist, well then most of the U.S. Congress, if not all of the U.S. Congress, are full of terrorists. Okay, they're all terrorists by that definition. Okay, I mean, and more importantly, if your definition of a terrorist is someone who invades a country illegally